we bump into, as you mentioned, two of the Turks. So Rude, who we're already very familiar with, and then also another Turk who we haven't met yet in this game, which is Elena.
Feast your eyes on the Turks' latest and greatest, Elena. But you three can call me your worst nightmare.
And she's this like young blonde who she's basically been promoted to the Turks after we had kicked the crap out of Reno.
After Reno got it.
And he was forced on vacation, right, to recover. And so Cloud and the party overhear Elena kind of complaining about their mission and the weird robed guys. And they're standing next to one of these robed guys. And I think based on the level of where we are in the cave, it's probably the robed guy that fell down the abyss is what I think. I think that's the robed guy that like...
It could be, yeah. Who knows?
Because it's just the one, and they're always in these clusters, right? And they were deeper in the mine, so that kind of made sense to me. So in that way, this could be like a sign that he survived, right? And then we're discovered by Elena and Rude, and then this fight ensues. And I'm curious your thoughts about Elena, because I have mixed feelings about Elena. So admittedly, she kind of rubbed me as annoying right up front to the point that when we fought her and Rude, I focused on her first and I just kicked the crap out of her relatively easy.
It's on now.
Sorry. Which was quite satisfying because she had irritated me. I'm like, I'm going to destroy you. And then I did.
Ugh, damn it.
Her voice performance is fine. Like, it's not award-winning. It's not terrible. I think her voice timbre does fit the character that they were going for.
Maybe you need a vacation.
But the character itself, just the way it's written, kind of annoyed me in this scene. But she does start to grow on me more throughout the game, although I still haven't concluded how I feel about Elena 100%.
First of all, let me say I love the Turks. Love the Turks. And I realize they're like enemies and all as villains or whatever.
No, they're pretty cool though, because they're a little bit different dimensional.
Especially Rude used a phrase of like something like she's new.
She may be new, but she's still a Turk. And a consummate professional.
And to me, that encapsulated what the Turks are, right? Like they are these awesome fighters, but then they're like dressed in suits.
Yeah, they wear suits.
Like, and I only wear a suit like if somebody dies or somebody gets married, right? Like that's it, right? So I'm not the suit guy, right? But like,
if you were in like a special forces or like an FBI kind of situation.
But see, now that's another thing. Like if you're an FBI paper pusher, like desk jockey, you're in a suit, right? But if you're like a field agent,
that's right. You're probably undercover most of the time, to be honest.
It's different, right? But like Reno's, he's okay. And like you said, Elena, I was like, this chick is annoying. But Rude, I don't know why I love his character. Because like,
you like the all business character.
Exactly. I was going to say, I hate to use the term, but like he's a consummate professional. Like this guy is just like, I'm here to take care of business and that's it. And I'm out.
Rude's not a bad person, really.
No, I'm not bad. But like it or not, I sometimes have to do bad things.
That's one thing I appreciate about the writing of the Turks is that like they didn't try to write like these crazy like reasons why they became a Turk, and maybe they do that later, I don't know, but like
they do with some characters.
To me, it was just like, hey, these are just consummate professionals.
It's nothing personal, bitch.
Right? These are like special forces operatives. They come in, they have a mission, they do their job, and they leave.
They focus on the mission.
There's no like emotion involved in it.
Right. They dropped the 7 plate.
They
dropped the 7 plate on the entire citizenry.
Plate separation initiated.
You son of a bitch! What have you done?
They're pure business.
Don't take it personal.
And I realize that granted, they're villains or whatever, but like in their mind, they're not even considering the morality of things.
No, they're just following orders.
They're just business people.
No, you don't. Not when I'm working.
And so like, I love the Turks on one level, even though they're villains. But yeah, Elena kind of, she got on my nerves. And so I did the same thing you did. I went after her first, but for a different reason. Because the minute he said she's new, but she's a consummate professional, I was like, okay, so she's the less trained one.
She's the easier one.
I'm going to go after
kill.
her first. And of course, Rude tried to protect her or whatever. Yep. But I did the exact same thing you did. I went straight after her,
wailed on
took her out, and then got Rude. And then, of course, you know who shows up after that. And
right. So you're like all business going after her for strategic reasons. I'm going after her because she's annoying. I'm like, destroy.
I mean, that's a strategy. That's a strategy. It's just a different strategy.